Now almost everyone knows about Mario, one of the most fake Italians ever that always saves the day. He's a legend in the world of gaming and even real life. However, his brother... well, he doesn't receive as much love. You barely see him in Super Mario titles, and only in spin-off games like Mario Kart, he gets any attention or care. Well, that was the case back then, because nowadays he even has his own franchise known as Luigi's Mansion, which is still going strong. Personally, I love the third game that they released for the Switch. However, today we won't be looking at that. Instead, we will look at the first title in the series, a game that received a lot of praise. However, there are some things off with it. The first Luigi's Mansion is filled with dark secrets according to people on the internet. Weird shadows, hidden story elements, and even some sort of secret boss. So, can these be found? What do they do? And is all of this stuff even real? Well, let's find out. But first, introducing my new store, Wily.gg, the place to buy your new games and get your hands on eShop cards for Nintendo as well as Xbox. And don't forget, use code Wily at checkout to save 10%. Now let's continue. Now all of this started a long time ago. Actually, during my childhood when I played on the best console Nintendo has ever made, the GameCube. Luigi's Mansion was actually a launch title for the Nintendo GameCube released in 2001. And so, for the first time ever, Luigi had to be a carry instead of a support character. It marked the second time where Luigi is the main protagonist, with Mario playing a supporting role. The first time that ever happened was Mario is Missing, which clearly wasn't the best example of Luigi being the main lead. Now, Luigi's Mansion also marks the debuts of King Boo, Luigi's main antagonist, as well as Professor Elvin Gadd, a major supporting character in the entire series. It was also one of the two Mario-related games on the GameCube to continue the use of N64-era artwork and renders, along with Super Smash Bros. Melee, another early GameCube title, which was a bit weird because Luigi's Mansion was developed along with the GameCube, so the game was 100% made for that console. But regardless of that, people were excited for this new and mostly weird game that was a lot darker than anything Nintendo had made up until that point. Well, with some exceptions. However, at that point, it started. Nintendo posted promotional articles about the game, and so the speculation began, with a bunch of new rumors being born thanks to this. Because in the October 2001 issue of Nintendo Power, there was a page with preview screenshots of Luigi's Mansion, and it included a screenshot of an earlier build of the Safari Room with the caption, "When your ghoul-busting mission takes you to the trophy room, proceed with caution. If you meet up with the ghost of a hunter, he wants to add Luigi to his collection." Thanks to this, a rumor was born that the Safari Room originally featured a hunter boss, who actually wanted Luigi's head as one of his trophies, and players speculated that it was removed from the game for being too frightening to the target audience of children, which does make sense because the game was actually a lot darker before release, but they changed some things before it came out. However, was this actually in the game at some point? Well, some had found it in the game. Well, they claimed this at least. Some people said you could actually fight him if you have an action replay with the proper code, and this was a cheating device similar to a Game Shark. I've talked about these many times, so if you want to learn about it, watch my other videos. But no matter how hard you looked, you couldn't find this code. And while there are scrapped ghosts in the files, there wasn't one for the hunter. So in the end, no such hunter ghost exists in the game. And the general consensus that the mentioning of a hunter ghost was merely a playful description of the Safari Room in the game. But this wasn't the end of it all, because there were more dark rumors surrounding this weird game. For example, something that reminds most of us of another sinister Nintendo title known as Majora's Mask, because according to legend, earlier builds of the game game included a 24-hour countdown timer that forced the players to beat it in a certain time limit. In a lot of ways, this was similar to games like Pikmin and Majora's Mask, which I already mentioned earlier. Now, if you didn't succeed in time, the mansion would actually completely disappear and trigger a game over. As you can imagine, some really hoped this was in the game. It would give you a sense of dread, which would be fitting for a game like this. But was this at least real? Well, no. In the end, there's one possible inspiration for the rumor. The game's North American commercial claimed that Luigi only had one night to save Mario. But this refers to the fact that the game takes place over one night, not that players have one night to save Mario. And personally, I can understand the mistake. It is something that Nintendo has done before, and this commercial made it sound like they were going to do something like this again. But in the end, it was fake. There was nothing in the game or the files hinting towards this being a thing at all. But there's one last rumor, a very sinister one that is different from the rest. Some people saw something haunting in the game that no one ever expected: a dead Luigi. In Luigi's mansion, when entering Area 4 after defeating broodals, a blackout occurs, and you must proceed to the telephone room. Now, if you wait while Luigi answers the telephone, lightning strikes and reveals his shadow, which appears to be suspended from the ceiling. This led many to believe that it purposely depicted Luigi hanging himself, and the shadow became a source of creepypasta and speculation about the development of the game. Now, while the Hunter rumor was already quite dark, this one was on a similar level to a game like Majora's Mask. Normally, Nintendo doesn't talk or even mention topics like this, and if they do, they try to do so indirectly. But this time, it was there for everyone to see. But was this even legit? I mean, the last two were fake. Well, when it comes to this one, it is actually real. Well, sort of. The appearance of Luigi's shadow was not really put into the game by Nintendo, at least not on purpose. At the end of the day, it is simply a glitch caused by the shadow's position being based on the angle of the in-game camera. And because the camera moves slightly lower while Luigi's answering a telephone, his shadow is projected slightly higher. Additionally, what appears to be Luigi's arm to the right of his shadow is actually the shadow of the Poltergust 3000, which converges with Luigi's shadow in this instance. Now, this graphical effect can be replicated again while speaking to a Toad or Professor Egad over the Game Boy Horror, as a similar camera angle change occurs. So while it does look really dark and messed up, it is nothing more than a simple glitch, something Nintendo didn't fix before release. However, they do actually know about it, because in the Nintendo 3DS remake of Luigi's Mansion, the lighting system was improved, and Shadow's positions are no longer based on camera position. Therefore, the error is not present. Now, personally, I think they did this on purpose, however, I'm not 100% sure. But regardless of that, it's only in the original. So while the first two rumors were 100% fake, this one is real. Clearly, while Luigi's Mansion is already quite dark, there are a couple of things in the game that make it even more sinister. But this isn't the only game like it, because I've made more videos like this. So click on the screen right now, or in the upper right corner to check those out. Thank you all so much for watching the video, I hope you enjoyed it. I tried to include some stuff that wasn't real and some stuff that was real in this video, because I know sometimes people say, oh, all these rumors are just fake, so I tried to cover some real ones as well. And this video was a mix of real and fake, so I hope you enjoyed it. If you have any ideas or anything, leave them in the comments down below. Leave a like, subscribe, click the bell button, do all the good stuff. In the first week, I read and react to all comments, so be sure to share your opinion down below and I will read it and respond to it if appropriate. And yeah, alright, cool, thanks. Watch more videos, bye!